Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Menasha Administration Committee meeting to order. Clerk Galeazzi, could we have roll call, please?
Alderman Taylor. Alderman Krautkramer.
Here.
Alderman Collier.
Here.
Alderman Keehan.
Here.
Alderman Zielinski.
Here.
Alderman Spencer.
Here.
Alderman Benner. Alderman Nichols.
Here. Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is to approve the Administration Committee meeting minutes from December 5th, 2016. Do we have a motion? Alderman Keehan?
Thank you. I'll move to approve the Administration Committee meeting minutes of the 12/5/16 meeting.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Meeting minutes are approved.
Here.
We have a communication this evening regarding the a claim. Are there any questions for the city attorney about that? Seeing none, we'll move on to action items for this evening. Action item number 1 is the Gold Cross Ambulance Service Incorporated would like to participate in the Tax Refund Intercept Program, also known as TRIP. And I had to call Attorney Captain and ask her about this. I had some misconceptions about the whole thing, so I'd like her to explain that for us, what they are asking, what they would like to do and what they're asking of us.
Gold Cross Ambulance did approach the city of Menasha and asked if we would allow them to participate in the Tax Refund Intercept Program. They cannot participate unless the city of Menasha allows them to do so. It's something that was changed in the law in 2015. That's when ambulance services were able to, if they had the permission, so to speak, of the municipality which they served. If they had their permission, then they could participate in that program. There is no written agreement between the city and Gold Cross. When I read the statutes, it does reference if there is a written agreement, and I'm paraphrasing, then we have the ability to allow them to do it, but I'm informed that the Wisconsin Department of Revenue considers the designation of an ambulance provider in the state operational plan that we have to prepare. If we designate an ambulance service, that is sufficient for them to allow the ambulance provider to participate and utilize that program, Tax Intercept. And basically what that means is if there is a bill that's due to the ambulance service and it's not paid, that they could submit it to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, and then it sits in a queue. And the way that it works is first in, first out, so whoever gets in the queue first. If there are any tax refunds that are due to an individual, if there are some debts that are owed, whoever has this debt certified could get possibly paid instead of the funds or the refund going back to the tax the person who submitted the tax return. So what I did put in here is that there's an order of priority with respect to tax refund interception funds, and you'll see first, the Department of Revenue, we can't jump in front of them. State agencies, we can't jump in front of them. Then come counties and municipalities, and that's in order of certification. So that's where Gold Cross, if the city decided to allow them to participate in the program, that's where they would fit, is in number 3. And then the federal government non-tax debts. So, if anyone else has any questions, I can answer them.
Is there any responsibility or requirement of the city if we were to approve this?
We would have to submit something to the Department of Revenue indicating that we approve their participation in the program.
But as far as money exchanging hands or any of the finances, the city doesn't have any responsibilities?
No, that would be done through the Department of Revenue. They collect the taxes, and then rather than the tax refund going to the person who filed the tax return, it would go to, in the event that Gold Cross had a debt that was certified, it would go to, or a part of it would go to Gold Cross. It just depends. Now, when I say it's first in, first out, one of the issues I think that the city should be aware of is that if we didn't have any debt, that this person, I don't know, Michael X, if Michael X had a debt that was owed to Gold Cross and Gold Cross certified it, well, that's in the queue. And then if the following year or year after or whatever it is, Michael X owes something to the city of Menasha and we put it in the queue, well, Gold Cross potentially is in front of us. We're all under item number 3, but you stay in the queue until it gets paid. So, it may take longer if there happens to be a debt that's owed to Gold Cross and the city of Menasha.
Thank you.
I can't answer what kind of odds those are. I understand that the city participates, but we don't really see a lot of recovery through the program.
Thank you. We'll entertain a motion and then we'll open the floor for discussion. Alderman Benner?
All right. For discussion, I'll make a motion to forward on to the Common Council the Gold Cross Ambulance Service, Inc. to participate in the tax refund intercept program.
We have a motion and a second. Alderman Benner?
Thank you, Chairman. My question, I think it'll be directed towards the attorney, is I don't want to imply that somebody may be billing inappropriately, but is there something that, some oversight as far as reasonable and customary charges, that we don't become a participant in something? Let's say Gold Cross is in our ambulance service and somebody else is in there or something and they charge, say, $5,000 for a $1,000 ambulance fee, and then that's what gets put onto our records and we become a participant in that problem. Is there any oversight for this that we don't get involved in a practice like that?
Attorney Captain?
We would not be involved in Gold Cross Ambulance Services billing and how they're regulated. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, okay. Because my fear is that if something like that were to happen and the folks disagree with it, of course, their path is to come a civil action, and I see this happening more with people who don't have insurance and they don't have the resources to fight it and things like that. And I have a concern from that perspective that something like that would happen. It may even be to a point as to where, the efforts that they've had, the money they had spent in trying to collect and all that, could be included in that. And I don't know all the nuances to it, but I just have a concern from that perspective that there'd be a dispute there, and all of a sudden it's become a dispute at the time that they sell their home, and it becomes a problem. And I don't, it's semi-rhetorical, I understand that, that there may not be a good answer for that, but I would like to think that before that it got put on our tax rolls, that it was deemed that that billing was reasonable and customary billing.
May I ask you a question? This is the when I first called Attorney Captain, my concern was, are we putting this on someone's tax bill? And then it goes through this process? Is that your question?
No, my concern is
Okay.
okay, this is my understanding, that the dollars from this gets put on, it gets put on the tax roll, right?
Income tax, income tax.
From-
So it would go to the Wisconsin Department of Revenue, and if a person filed their personal income tax form,
Oh, I see.
and then they got a
Okay.
refund of,
Oh, I see.
you know, how you,
Okay, yeah,
then they can hold it for debts.
okay. I guess I
And
was.
they
I
already
was
do for like child support
Yeah,
and.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, and
And
that, we really aren't involved
and I
in
think that that's why we probably don't see a lot of success, because that's probably the number one place it goes to is
So
family
really-
support.
Our only involvement is the fact that they're providing the service here, correct?
Correct.
Has nothing to do, so nothing is going through our office or anything.
Correct.
They're just providing the service here, and that becomes a mode of collection.
Correct, becomes
For
a
them.
mode of collection for them, and they are not able to utilize it without
Okay.
the city.
I didn't
giving them
understand it
permission
that
to
way,
do
but
so.
that I,
Sorry about that.
no, it is what it is. So, okay, well, that's better than what I thought it was. Thank you.
In my first reading, I understood it exactly how you thought. So, any other questions? Alderman Collier?
When, years ago, I filed my taxes, and this happened to me. They decided I was in arrears on child support, which at that time I was not, never was. But the state made a mistake, and somebody said I owe them some money, so they held up my taxes. And the only reason I would vote no on this tonight is because it's paperwork, and I believe Gold Cross has a way of getting their money if they want to get it, going after collection agencies to get it. Paperwork, there's mistakes in paperwork all the time. I just don't like the idea of, some guy owes $300. Like you say, he don't have the money to pay it. He's living on a shoestring. He's got 4 kids, and he's getting $600 back in taxes, and he's gonna lose half of it maybe that year because they can't afford to lose $300. I know it's a business, but they got write-offs, they got everything else. I don't see this. I don't care for it myself, but it'll probably pass tonight. But they have ways of getting their money, and they have ways of writing stuff off, and I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Motion carried on roll call, 7-1.
The second action item for this evening is Ordinance 117, an ordinance Title II, Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinances. This is the ordinance dealing with municipal offers and employees, and introduced by myself, Alderman Nichols. We have been provided in our packet the ordinance as it's being proposed this evening, the proposed update, and also as it read in its original form in our Code of Ordinances. Basically, it's been updated to reflect the positions that are department heads and how they get to be that way, along with their primary function. Any reference to job descriptions or positions that are no longer here have been removed from the ordinance. So first, I'll look for a motion, and then we'll open the floor for discussion. Alderman Kehan?
Thank you. I'll move to forward to council 0117 ordinance, Title II, Chapter 3 of the Code of Ordinances, Municipal Officers and Employees, introduced by Alderman Nichols.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. Alderman Taylor?
Mayor, isn't this a personnel issue rather than administration? Yeah, but it involves all the personnel. Either or? Okay.
It is an ordinance change, that is why it's coming through the administration committee. Any other questions or discussion? I have one. We, at the end of the council meeting, appointed Ms. Sassman as the comptroller/treasurer. Those positions, I don't see them reflected in the ordinance as for the one that's being proposed. And so I'm wondering if I missed something, or if that's something we need to resolve or not. Attorney Captain?
Those two positions are incorporated into the Administrative Services Director position. So that person, whoever holds that title, functions as the treasurer and as the comptroller. So when the person is appointed, they would be acting as the comptroller and treasurer. In this particular case, it's just an interim comptroller treasurer. And if you look to, let's see, where is that one? It is section 2-3-5, Administrative Services Director. That person performs all of the duties for, those two sections are the comptroller and treasurer.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. Any other discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Motion carried on roll call 8-0.
And with that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Attorney Captain, your light is on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Alderman Benner?
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? We are adjourned.